Welcome back, Sethling here, and today we continue my quest to create a custom 360 card Mario-themed Magic the Gathering Draft Cube. If you missed what this whole project's about, check out the first video in this series. There's a link in the video description that explains the whole project, what all the different strategies are. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the super part of the set. Super is a keyword mechanic. It's based on enchanting your creatures. And it's sort of like the heroes part of the set, as opposed to the villains. So we're going to start off with Archivist Toadette. So Archivist Toadette is like a specific Toadette in Super Mario Odyssey that keeps track of your achievements and gives you stars based on your achievements. But in this set, she's a 2/2 for 2 with Super. So Super says if this creature would leave the battlefield while enchanted, instead exile it, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. So basically, it's a way. There's a problem with enchantments, auras specifically. You enchant a creature with an aura, and then if your opponent has a removal spell for the creature, both the creature and the aura die. You've lost 2 cards. Your opponent's only used 1 card, and it's card disadvantage. It's just like your opponent is just gonna take over if that happens too often. So Super is a way of preventing that, right? If your creature dies, you only lose the aura, and you don't lose the creature. It's very flavorful in the world of Mario because if Mario has a power mushroom and he takes a hit, he would normally die if he didn't have the power mushroom, but instead of dying, he just loses the power mushroom, becomes Small Mario again. So that's the flavor and the mechanical idea behind Super. Archivist Toadette has another ability. Whenever Archivist Toadette or another creature enters the battlefield under your control, gain 1 life. So when you play her, you gain a life. When you play another creature, you gain 1 life. When she dies while she's enchanted, she leaves the battlefield and comes back and enters the battlefield again, and you'll gain another life. So this is true for any card with Super that dies and comes back. Any card with Super that dies while it's enchanted will cause you to gain a life. So that's a cool interaction, and Archivist Toadette can definitely gain a lot of life over the course of a game. Let's take a look at some more cards with Super. Here's Justice Toad. So it's a 2/2 again for 2 mana with Super. Spells cast from exile cost 1 more to cast. So in this set, white is the only color that doesn't have an ability that allows you to cast spells from exile. Cards with Spawn or Spook, which are Spawn is in black, green, red, and then Spook is in blue, black, red, costs 1 more to cast. Spawn or Spook. These are cards that exile the card and then you cast them from exile. So a little nerfer. It's it's called a hate bear. It's a very common thing for white to have, and it's not the biggest nerf, but it can be pretty big depending on the deck. And having Super allows you to also cast auras on it, and just fits in pretty nicely to the set. Prince Peasley can definitely be pretty powerful. This is Prince Peasley and Queen Bean are like beanish people from the Mario and Luigi games. And I'd never heard of these games before I started working on this set, but I've done a lot of research and now I know about them. So Prince Peasley is this like princely guy. He's kind of aggressive. He likes to fight. So he's got Super because he's a hero. Whenever an aura becomes attached to Prince Peasley, he fights up to 1 target creature. So you can buff him, have him fight a creature. He gets a lot of value out of being enchanted, and if he dies while he's enchanted, you don't lose the card, you just lose the auras. So this can be, I think, a really, really strong card. Might have to rebalance this as we do some playtesting. We haven't done any playtesting with this card yet. And then next up is Queen Bean, the Beanish Queen. And Queen Bean is going to kick off a set of kind of a cycle of 3 1-mana cost cards with Super that kind of all operate the same. So she's got Super, she's a 1/1 for 1. As long as Queen Bean is enchanted, she gets +1/+1 and has Trample. This used to be the ability that was on Pauline. I moved it over to Queen Bean, and Pauline has a different ability now. Trample is just a really good ability for green to have, so I thought it made sense. So she's sort of like a 2/2 base if you're able to enchant her, and if she's otherwise she's just a 1/1 for 1, which is not really a card you want in your deck. But so the goal here is to play this card and then enchant it, but it does curve out quite nicely. If you can play this card on turn 1 and then play an enchantment on turn 2, she could be a pretty big creature that's attacking in for a lot with Trample very fast. So let's go over Mayor Pauline and Princess Peach. So Again, 1/1 for 1 with super, as long as it's enchanted, gets +1/+1, and has Menace. So Menace means can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures. So again, hard to block, very good in an aggressive deck, and has that sort of mirror to Queen Bean. And then let's go over Princess Peach real quick. This is, again, another card that I modified. 1/1 for 1 with super, as long as it's enchanted, gets +1/+1, and has Lifelink. Lifelink is definitely a very white ability. Princess Peach is a very, like, feel good, you know, like she's a sweetie, and anyway, she grants you life if you're able to deal damage with her. Basically, Mayor Pauline and Princess Peach used to have non-square stats. So square stats means equal power and toughness. Mayor Pauline used to get +2/+0 and gain trample. Princess Peach was a 1/3 with super. I've decided that all of the cards with super in this set should have square stats. The reason for that is a lot of the auras will add the same amount to both power and toughness. These cards themselves add the same amount to power and toughness, right? They each get +1/+1, and it's just a lot quicker and easier to do math if you're only doing it once rather than doing it twice. If you enchant Mayor Pauline with a say a Power Mushroom, which gives +2/+2, and she has an ability that says she gets +2/+0 if she's enchanted, then it takes a bit of time to calculate both the power and the toughness. The power is 1 base power +2 from being enchanted, +2 for being for the Power Mushroom. That's a total of 1 + 2 + 2 is 5. And then toughness is just 1 + 2 from the Power Mushroom is 3. So you have to calculate it twice. Whereas right now, you just like do the same calculation for both sides. 1 base power, 1 for being enchanted, 2 from the Power Mushroom. She's a 4/4, much quicker. And same thing for Princess Peach. Having the 3 toughness and the 1 power means you have to calculate each of them independently. And if you have to do that a lot of times, it can really slow down the game, make it easier to misplay or miscalculate. So square stats on all cards with super is the rule. And I finally brought these cards in line with that rule. Next up, let's go over a sweet aura. This is a version of Armadillo Cloak. I almost said Armadillo Cloak. Armadillo Cloak, which is a very iconic enchantment. It's a very efficient enchantment. That card didn't say Lifelink because it existed before Lifelink, and it had an ability that's slightly different than Lifelink. Anyway, so this is a version that does say Lifelink. Whoops. This card has actually been printed verbatim. I forget what set. I think it was Shards of Alara block, but yeah, so very efficient card. +2/+2 and trample and lifelink is just like a nice set of abilities to all get. But in this set, you get the benefit of being able to enchant a creature with super, which means that even if the creature dies, you don't lose Armadillo Cloak or Rolladillo Cloak plus the creature. You just lose the cloak. Rolladillo, of course, is an Armadillo-like Mario enemy. So taking his cloak and putting it on. Super Bell is a power-up from I think from the Super Mario 3D World games. So I decided that in this set, cats are going to have a couple properties. They're going to get First Strike and they're going to get Haste. And in the next video, we'll see Meowser, who has both those abilities, along with some other stuff going on. But this is, again, just a very efficient enchantment. There were no enchantments in Red-White, even though Red-White is definitely part of the super colors in this set. Red, green, white are the super colors. So +2/+0 is very synergistic with First Strike. And then Haste is also just a nice ability to have. Since this only costs 2, putting Haste on a creature could actually be relevant for sure. But yeah, just a really efficient card. This does sort of like break the square stats, but that happens on a few of the auras. But a lot of the cards like Rolladillo Cloak does preserve square stats. Birdly. This is yeah, so this is a card that's maybe too efficient. It's a version of Healer's Hawk that has Vigilance. So Healer's Hawk is an existing card. It's not like a overpowered card or anything. Adding Vigilance to it is nice. Lets you attack in with a 1/1 flyer and gain a life, and then still block with it if you need to. Also holds enchantments very well. You can put something like, I don't know, Super Bell on it. Turn 3, play Birdly plus Super Bell, be attacking with a 3/3 First Strike flying lifelinker with Vigilance, like pretty nice, right? Or even just Birdly turn 1, Super Bell turn 2 is still pretty nice to have First Strike on this 3/1 Vigilance guy. So he carries an aura pretty well, but of course he does have that classic problem of if your opponent removes him, you sort of like get 2 for 1. Hammer Time. Why is Hammer Time actually in here? I've already gone over Hammer Time. Anyway, moving on to Ukiki. Ukiki is related to this aura theme of the set. He's a little bit different though. He doesn't necessarily carry an aura that well. He's actually good against a super deck. So he's a 3/2 with haste for 3 mana. Ukiki is this monkey that steals Mario's hat, and you can see that in the art. He's stolen Mario's hat, and Mario is grumbly about it. When Ukiki enters the battlefield, you may attach target aura or equipment to it. So if your opponent has an aura, you can steal it and attach it to Ukiki and then attack immediately. Pretty powerful against auras. This might be too strong, I'm not really sure, but we'll have to do some playtesting to figure that out. You can also do some interesting things about like moving auras around on your side of the battlefield. There's a couple of equipment that you might want to play, and then like you can attach them to Ukiki for free. So certainly he can have some utility in a super deck, but I think it's very situational. All right, 4. So this is the last, well, not quite the last couple of videos. I decided there wasn't enough artifact and enchantment removal in the set. There's a lot of artifacts and enchantments. And enchantments in this video, we're seeing a lot of relevant auras. And there's a lot of artifacts that are like vehicles. There's a lot of just random artifacts and enchantments too for the Architect theme. So I decided I need to design a couple cards that can deal with powerful artifacts and enchantments that would otherwise take over the game. And so 4 is one of them. This is a comical idea of Mario whacking a golf ball at either an artifact or enchantment or a creature that's like a bird. This is like very similar to a couple cards called, shoot, I don't remember what they're called. Something Vines, and anyway. Which one of them is an instant that can for this mana cost that can destroy an artifact or a creature with flying. One of them is an instant for this mana cost that can destroy an enchantment or a creature with flying. So this is a combination of both of those cards, but it's moved to sorcery speed rather than instant speed. But yeah, and Sand Trap is another sort of like pairing of this card. It's very similar to 4. It's another golf reference card as well, though with a bit of a different flavor. The thing is actually getting trapped in the Sand Trap, whether that's a creature with power 4 or greater, or it's an enchantment or an artifact. But both green and white can destroy artifacts or enchantments. Green has the ability to destroy creatures with flying, and white has the ability to destroy high power creatures. So they're a little bit different, but they're very similar cards. And then finally, Cataquack. Cataquack is originally from Mario Sunshine, also appears in some Mario Kart levels. When Cataquack deals combat damage to a player, you may sacrifice it. Sacrificing Cataquack, of course. When you do, destroy target artifact or enchantment. Let's do that player controls. Because that just like makes sense. So you can like flip things up into the air and break them and whatever. Anyway, just a 3/3 for 2. It's a very efficient card. So I prefer in my set to have a lot of this artifact and enchantment removal be incidental. They're cards you would play anyway, but sometimes you might be able to destroy artifacts or enchantments. That way you don't have a lot of like heavy sideboarding around artifacts and enchantments. It's more just cards that you were playing anyway. And that way in game 1, you'll still be able to deal with artifacts or enchantments. All right, that is it. 13 cards in this video, I think. There's one more video in the set of 5 that I've recorded all at once. So tomorrow you'll see that. That'll be the villains video. And yeah, so if you're interested in getting more involved in the set, check out my stream, twitch.tv/SethBling. Oh, Crushing Vines and Crushing Canopy are the cards that I've combined into 4 that I was mentioning. Thank you, Tam15. And I'm live streaming right now, twitch.tv/SethBling. And Tam15 reminded me what the names of those cards are. Anyway, and then also reddit.com/r/Mario the Gathering is a Reddit where people are posting ideas and discussing the set and all that sort of stuff. So good ways to get involved. That's about it. Thanks for watching.